I think what's really interesting about China's experience is that in some ways, some of the activities that China has done in order to develop, in some ways actually challenge the typical theory of change around development. Take, for example, whether your economy should be very liberalized or not. From the opening up and reform period, China slowly liberalized its economy, whereas many economies, other economies, especially in the development sphere, are encouraged to liberalize very quickly, and that can be very damaging. So I think it's very important for other countries, especially those who are still trying to eradicate poverty, who are still working on those issues as a major issue for the development, to understand China's experience and seek to adapt it, if they can, to their circumstances, but at the very least, understand it and know about it. And I think this is the significance of the white paper.
Right, so are you implying that in recent decades the international governance has been based on neoliberalism and now it's time to take a better look at its previous model?
Well, I think we have gone through different phases in the world around what model of development we really are thinking about. Back in the 1960s, there was a very strong feeling that we must have a lot of protection of economies and so on. Then in the 1980s, especially with regards to African countries, I'm a Kenyan, we had a lot of liberalization, opening up the economies. And this has continued to be the main preference. Also a real focus on using a very formal way of rule of law, for instance. Now, I'm not saying those things are wrong, but I think it's important that people know what the full spectrum of options are and that they can choose what's right for their economy. And I think what China offers is that opportunity to look at what is that full spectrum.
Now, having said that, let's focus on one specific issue. That's the internationalization of the Chinese yuan, the RMB. Do you think that will make the United States worry? Because let's face it, it's still a dollar-dominated world.
Well, my colleague will also come in on this one, but I think with the internationalization of the RMB, this is particularly important to African countries who are trying to bring in a lot more foreign direct investment from China. China is the world's current manufacturing hub. Africa wants to be the next manufacturing hub. And if they can't exchange currency easily, and if they have to use the dollar in order to do that, that means an extra hurdle for those transactions to take place. So actually many African countries are looking forward to the internationalization of the RMB, but obviously in a way that actually suits their economies, a way that they also can protect their own currencies.